Well, my most recent video detailing the bummish exploits of walking pile of ass Jamal Murray for Team Canada in these Olympic Games has been struck down by the copyright police and blocked worldwide because the IOC is a tad bit finicky these days with redistribution of their material. But since I am constantly, personally, routinely taken to task by other people in this creator space here, as well as many of you in the comment section, I am making an effort to re-upload this video right here with some key modifications, of course, if that is you missed the initial posting in which I detail the putrid play of selfish Jamal Murray, who is seemingly hell-bent on destroying the Nuggets season for a second consecutive year in a row before we even hit October. So as Team Canada sits on the precipice of their noon matchup in the knockout round tomorrow against host country France, without further ado, if you missed it, well, the NBA postseason is far in the rearview mirror, as all available attention within the basketball watching world has turned squarely to the Paris Olympics and the United States' quest for a fifth consecutive gold medal, with their primary obstacle outside of themselves, of course, being Team Canada. Canada, who is pretty definitively the most stacked country's roster in Olympic men's basketball history outside of, well, any and every single American team assembled since 1992, boasting a robust roster of NBA veterans. A squad with the likes of R.J. Barrett, Kelly Olynyk, Dillon Brooks, Dwight Powell, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. But this team was undeniably headlined by the backcourt of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jamal Murray. And thus far through pool play group stages, SGA has been as advertised in leading the Canadian squad, with Canada still undefeated at the Paris Games, behind the transcendent rising star who was first-team All-NBA the last 2 seasons and finished 5th and 2nd in league MVP voting over that time. Also, unsurprisingly, right on cue in these Olympic Games is Jamal Murray, who has been heinous ass thus far. Murray, who is fresh off of an NBA postseason that saw him average just over 20 points per game on barely over 40% from the field and 31.5% from three-point line, decided to suit it up for Team Canada rather than resting in this offseason. And the reason that rest for him was of the utmost importance is because, of course, the fact that many Murray supporters would be quick to point out he was injured during the postseason, which accounted for his steep drop-off in the playoff run. All the more reason he should be resting this offseason and not playing at these Olympics. And Murray again has looked like the aforementioned hot ass, averaging just 6.5 points per game so far in 21 minutes a game on 31% from the field and 12.5% from the three-point line.
It's a complete crap.
Furthermore, he has registered a cumulative -12 thus far and has been equally useless on the defensive end. All of this coming as Canada's head coach recently admitted that Murray was on a minutes restriction. Seriously, why the hell is this bum playing in this tournament? It is admirable that he wants to represent his country, but he is currently playing out a 5-year, $158 million contract with the Denver Nuggets. Oh, and by the way, seeking a 4-year max extension before the coming season begins. That is his primary obligation and responsibility to the Denver Nuggets, his actual job, and to the likes of, oh, you know, the best player on earth, Nikola Jokic, who Murray has largely disappointed and let down throughout the course of his overrated NBA career. Murray, whose entire tenure in the NBA virtually has been marred by injury. Many ardent supporters of Murray and Jokic haters very swift to point out that Nikola has been playing alongside a perennial all-star caliber player in Jamal Murray all along, despite the fact Murray has never been an all-star throughout the course of his entire 8-year NBA career, nor has he remotely sniffed a single All-NBA team selection. The extent of accolades Murray is currently boasting includes finishing 5th in Rookie of the Year voting in 2017 and 8th in the Most Improved Player voting in 2018. That's it. That's the list. Murray is averaging just 17.5 points per game, 4.5 assists, and 3.7 rebounds in 8 NBA seasons so far. And that is the best player Jokic has ever played beside. Yet he still catches routine criticism for his perceived playoff failures. All of this despite Jokic being the only MVP in NBA history dating back to 1984 that hasn't played with at least one player to make either an All-Star appearance or be voted first-team All-NBA or first-team All-NBA defense in his first 9 seasons. Yes, he is the only MVP in 40 years to not play with at least one such player. And yet, he has won the NBA championship while leading the entire playoffs in scoring, rebounds, and assists, becoming the first player in NBA history to accomplish that feat before being joined this season by Luka Doncic. Doncic, who has done exactly jack shit in the postseason for his entire career until being joined this year by an actual perennial all-star caliber player in Kyrie Irving. And ultimately, look, no one, and I do mean no one, hates super teams more than this guy who is currently speaking. But no player in NBA history has ever reached any semblance of dynastic success without a perennial all-star caliber sidekick. The greatest of the greats have been able to do it with just one such player. Jokic has never had even one. Not yet anyway, and for some reason the expectations placed on him is to be dynastic, with his walking pile of ass teammate masquerading around as an elite player. And to Murray's credit, he was elite in 2023 during the playoffs, and of course, the Nuggets easily won the title behind Jokic's historic playoff run that season, where he not only led those playoffs in points, rebounds, and assists, but did so while averaging 30.5 points, 13.5 rebounds, and 9.5 assists in those playoffs. Frankly though, that is pretty much just par for the course for him, as he has averaged 30 points per game, 13 rebounds, and 8 assists on 54% shooting for the last 4 NBA postseasons from his age 25 season on, spanning 47 games of sample size. Unfortunately for him, over that span of time, his best player, Jamal Murray, has missed 2 of those 4 postseasons altogether due to injury, and was a shell of himself this past postseason due, again, allegedly, to injury. So with 3 of the last 4 postseasons being substantially affected by injury to Murray, again I must ask, why the hell is this guy playing in these Olympics? Nikola Jokic's prime is literally being squandered by this guy who simply cannot stay healthy. In the last 4 playoff runs by the Nuggets, which marked Jokic's ascent to best player in the world status from his aged 25 season on, where he won the NBA MVP 3 times and finished runner-up the 4th season, his second leading postseason scorer has been Michael Porter Jr. at 17.4 points per game in 2021, Aaron Gordon at 15 points per game in 2022, finally Jamal Murray with some elite level supporting cast work at 26 points per game in 2023 when, again, the Nuggets easily won the title, and then Jamal Murray again this last postseason in 2024, but at only 20.6 points per game on a highly inefficient 20.5 field goal attempts. And the Nuggets' big off-season move was trading up 6 slots in the first round of the draft to select Deron Holmes out of Dayton to finally, hopefully present a viable backup to Nikola Jokic. Yeah, he promptly ruptured his Achilles in his Summer League debut and is expected to miss the entire season. Aside from that, they of course lost starter Kentavious Caldwell-Pope in free agency to the Orlando Magic on an obscene 3-year deal worth $66 million. And aside from that, brought 35-year-old Russell Westbrook on board, coming off of a career low across the board this past offseason in points and assists, averaging just 11 points and 4.5 assists for the Clippers. This, of course, as the Oklahoma City Thunder, who finished with the second best record in the NBA last season, have bolstered their roster significantly this offseason, adding Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein. The Timberwolves, boasting 2 All-Stars from a year ago in Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards, along with 2 All-NBA defensive players in Rudy Gobert and Jaden McDaniels. The Celtics, with 20-point-per-game scorer Kristaps Porzingis as their 3rd leading scorer, and Drew Holiday along with Derek White, who both made the Olympic team as 4th and 5th team options in Boston. The aforementioned Mavericks, now not only with perennial all-star caliber Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, but also freshly signed Hall of Famer Klay Thompson. LeBron has his all-time great running mate in Anthony Davis, fresh off of becoming the only player in the entire NBA to make both an All-NBA team selection and All-NBA defensive selection in 2024. Hell, even Giannis Antetokounmpo finally got one elite running mate in Dame Lillard. And yet, the Nuggets are 3rd odds-on favorite to win the title this season. They, of course, will go only as far as Nikola Jokic can manage to carry them, as there is just about a 0% chance Murray will be effective or even available at all come this postseason, as he looks as if he can barely run up and down the floor right now. Jokic, meanwhile, just made history in the Olympics while leading Serbia to a bounce-back win over Puerto Rico following a loss to the United States. In the game against Puerto Rico, Jokic dropped a line of 14 points, 15 rebounds, and 9 assists, becoming the first player in Olympic basketball history to record at least 10 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 assists. Nothing to see here, just Jokic making more history. And despite him actually needing more help amid a sea of all of the prima donna losers in today's NBA, constantly begging and moaning for more help, you will never hear Jokic disparage his teammates, beg for better players, or jump town in search of a super team. Perhaps we can all start celebrating him rather than criticizing him.